Okay, here we're going to show you guys how to do a self haircut at home. During this time, we got to look good. Some of you guys still got to go to work. Some of you guys got to have meetings online. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a number 4 guard. If you have longer hair, you might want to start with, and want to keep it a little longer, you might want to start with the 6 or a 5. We're going to comb our hair down. We got the parietal ridge on the side of our heads, and that's what we're going to be focusing on right now. Just combing the hair down into place. All right, so we're going to start at the sideburn area and go all the way up to the parietal ridge where the head rounds. You notice that I'm going up and out and not coming around my head. That's going to prevent from putting any holes at the top or making any goofy lines. So we've got the number 4. Continue to go up. Work your way behind the ear. Pull your ear down. Helps. All right, now we're coming into the back. You can see coming up and out. Number 4 guard. If you have any sort of clippers at home that either plug in or wireless, they'll work great. All right, now we're going to go the other side. Same thing. Just up and out. All the way through. We're not stopping. We're just going all the way through. And turn the angle just a little bit. Number 4, riding the bone all the way to the top, right off the parietal. Comb into place. Give it a little check. Make sure you don't have any lines. Work from the back now, behind the ear. Great. Looking better already. All right, now we're going to work on the back. So you just change the angle of my hand holding the clippers just to keep it comfortable. You can see I have my elbow close to my body. Okay. And we're just going to go straight up the middle, and we're going to ride the bone all the way to the occipital and then rock it out right at the round of the head. Rock it out. I'm using the camera and looking at my phone, so it makes it a little easier for me to see because I'm actually looking at the phone there on the station. So if you got to use a mirror to look behind you, that wouldn't hurt. But you could pretty much feel where the head rounds. And so where it rounds, just rock the clipper out. All right, we're going to switch sides, switch hand angles. And so if you want to just have a fresh look and not get too much into the fading, doing a 4 or a 3 or whatever guard you want to start with, determining on the length, you don't have to necessarily do the fade, but we're going to get into that, show you guys how to do that at the same time. Just rocking it up, rocking it out. Yep, there's an example. Up and out and away. And you will follow all the way through the hair. You can blow dry some of that hair off. Great. Now I'm going to switch to a number 3 guard. So I went all the way to the top of the parietal and rocked it out. Now we're going to go halfway up the parietal and rock it out. You'll see. There you go. Kind of in the middle of the flat part of your head there. Up and out. Up and out. Yeah. Now you want to remember the actual cutting part is where the blade is. It's not where the top of the guard is. So be just aware where the blade is actually on the clipper. Pull the ear down. There you go. Coming halfway up to the bottom of the parietal and rocking it out at the bottom, and it kind of blends in the middle of the parietal that way. So stop going all the way up the head and rock it out in the middle of the parietal ridge there. And work all the way to the back of the head. comb it down, check for lines. There we go. Switching the hand blade. See, I'm still keeping the elbow fairly into my body, except for right there. I found it a little easier to go all the way around the head from the one side, my dominant side, the right hand, as far as on the back of the head. Give yourself a little self-check and make sure it's not looking too off. And this will be really helpful if you have a partner at home too during this quarantine, and they can assist with it. Okay, now I just switched it to a number 2 guard. Now I'm going to come and I'm going to rock it out at the beginning of the bottom of the bridle. Just blend it up a little bit. Just getting them sideburns a little tighter and around the ears a little tighter. It's going to make the haircut last about a week or 2 longer. That's the little details that give you longevity. But like I was saying, for simplicity, you might just want to use a 4 and then weekly give yourself a trim. Or a 3 or a 4 or 5, whatever your length is. It's always better to start with a higher guard and work your way down. There we go. Following the head shape. Okay. Now I'm going to take the trimmers and we're going to do some edging. My sideburns are pretty high there already. Well, those ones were dead, so we're going with these ones. I'm just going to touch those up. I'm going to go in the front of the ear, and I'm going to pull the ear down, and I'm going to come from behind, right to the middle of the ear. And then I'm going to work my way down the side, and just get all those stubborn neck hairs. Now, if you're doing this at home, or if you even have a partner doing it at home, it's better just to kind of clean up the neck and not give yourself a hard line. The hard line in the back where you get it nice and square is where you can really goof up. So I just kind of left mine natural there, and I couldn't get back there and see it to give myself a hard line, so I just kind of left it natural looking. There's Brittany coming in and giving her a little anxiety about this cut. A little laugh. Thanks for the confidence and the support. We had a great idea that what we want to do is have people post the befores and afters. Right there, I'm kind of showing you, where the bottom of the occipital is, where you want to do most of your blending out. You don't want to go any higher than that line I was just showing you there. All right. Now, after I did my edging, I just kind of took the 2 and cleaned it up a little bit of reinsurance that I got, any of the random hairs. Just dust yourself off. All right. So now, probably good enough to go to work and look respectable and cleaned up, but I'm going to show you guys how to cut the top solo. Don't necessarily recommend it, but if you have a pair of scissors that are for hair cutting, get it wet, comb it into place. Now, normally when you come out hair it, you want to take a section that's the width of your fingers. And right here, I'm above the occipital, and I'm just taking off the corner. And I'm going to go on both sides, taking off the corner. And so basically, I'm starting right behind the ear, and I'm going to work my way forward. As I work my way forward, I take half of the section that I previously cut, and I'm taking half of a section about a finger's length in front of that past section. Just kind of clipping those edges off. Combing it down. Take half of the last cut, previous section, and then the next section. And normally when you cut hair, you follow a guide, but it's pretty hard to see a guide when you're doing it by yourself, because usually the guide's behind your fingers. So Here I'm just taking my time and I'm making small cuts. I'm not taking large sections so I don't cut. You'll see I cut a little here, there, and there. I kind of work the shape around my fingers. I don't cut a straight line. I round it out. I'll show you another example of that. Okay, behind the ear on this side. Section out nicely, push that away. Grab yourself. Now the scissors are going to be coming from the opposite angle, coming down. I'm going to round it out, take a couple different cuts. Not just one boom, it's done. It's about 3 or 4 to get that curve. All right, previous section, new section. Work my hand forward just a little bit. And cut, cut, cut. Next. Now you can see my hand is traveling along my head. Now when you cut using scissors, the hard part is making sure only one blade is moving at a time. And the way you achieve that is just by using your thumb finger. You don't use the finger that you have the other scissor in, which is your ring finger, or the other blade. That makes sure that only one blade is moving. It's a little easier not to cut yourself that way, and you have a little bit more control. I think I'm trying to explain the haircut in the video before the voiceover, so I'm not just talking to myself. All right. Coming around to the front, right around the recession line. See, my hands are following the head shape. It's all the way in the front. Clean section. Comb straight up. Around the head shape. Now we're going to attempt cutting the very, very top. So we cut the sides, and then we cut the round part of the head, which is in between. Now we're going to cut the top. And I'm going to take sections exactly like the other sections where you start behind the ear and work your way forward. You can see I'm just using the point of my scissor at this one. That way I don't create a blunt line. Just cutting the tip of the scissor. And the way you do that is when you go in with the scissor, you want to close the scissor blade on the way out. You'll see that. So you'll see my blade close on the way out when my hand is moving outwards. The point cutting pretty much just make sure that you don't have any lines. Oh, there's Brittany still. Almost done half the haircut and still no help. But she's practicing social distance, so that's great. Okay, now we're almost to the bang area. So it's combing straight up. Little cuts. I'm not taking too much off. I want to leave some length. Now, I'm in my last few sections here. Now you get the round of the head that really starts happening here towards the forehead. So the more you pull back, the longer the hair is going to be in the front. This is from the natural curvature of the head. So I am slightly pulling it forward and not all the way back so I can take a little bit off. go. Going after those strays. And one more section after this. Okay, maybe 2 sections. There we go, cutting on the way out. Scissors go in, blade gets moved by just the thumb on the way out of the cut. If you cut when you're going towards your finger, you're probably going to take your finger off. Okay, now I'm going to comb everything forward, everything down, that way I can check for lines. I'm going to point cut going from left to right and right to left, so it kind of meets in the middle. It gives me a balanced look there. And I just kind of made some little cuts on the bang. Down the crown, and depending on your calyx, it could get wild. But what I'm doing is following the head shape, pulling straight out. You can see that line right there, or the weight line right there. Just softly cutting a few cuts, not just one solid cut, but a few soft nips, really. And my fingers are pointing straight down, lifting the hair above 90 degrees. Trying to find where I'm at in the mirror there. Wasn't much to cut on that one. And you want to cut the hair, or comb the hair in the direction that the natural calic is, and just cut right where the calic is. Alright, so there's a little bit of weight there. I'm just gonna try and figure this out. This is probably the best time to, get your spouse involved, or I don't know about your kids, but depending on how old your kids are, they might enjoy it. All right, so just softly cutting that a little bit. I'm going to come to the other side. Elbow down on my one arm for comfort. And soft cuts. I'm going to come from the front where I started, was about right in behind the ear, and work my way forward. Now I'm going to start same spot and work my way back, just to blend that top crown part in. You see my fingers aren't flat against my head. I am pulling them up and out just to kind of preserve a little bit of that length. I'm going to come from a different angle. Instead of going vertical, I'm going to go horizontal. It's just for comfort right there in that very back section. It's really hard to get my fingers to point straight down. Yeah, I'm just going to run my hands through it and see if I see any kind of random long pieces that I might have missed. And since I'm using just the tip of my blade, I'm not going to be creating any lines, just softness. So I'm going to take my thinning shears here. This isn't necessarily too necessary. It's just for that little final cleanup. But this is called scissor over comb. And basically, where I stopped using the guard with the clippers, I'm going to be using my scissors and going in the same motion up and all the way out and through the hair, just to blend it a little bit. Now your scissor and your comb stay parallel to each other this whole time. Where your comb is that, and the angle it is, it's the same angle your scissors should be. Which makes it a little tough coming around there, but there you go. If you have really thick hair on top, you might want to take these thinning shears and do the exact same sections that I did with the other scissors as you cut the top and just remove a little weight. Or you could even take these scissors, the thinning shears that aren't one solid blade. You can see how they're kind of perforated. I don't even know if that's the word, but they just don't have solid blade there on the one side. And you could cut your entire top that way so you don't create too many lines if you wanted to instead of point cutting. So here, this is where I'm blending in between where the clipper was and my other scissor work. Don't quite. There it is. And I have blonde hair, so it shows scissor lines really well. So the thinning shears are really nice for that. Okay, now I'm going to put the 4 guard on, and since that was the highest guard I used, I'm just going to kind of go over the shape again from the beginning and go to the top of the bridle and rock it out just to make sure I captured and cut all the hair. There won't be much hair getting removed here, but this does help create a little bit more softness. Not looking too bad. Rocking it out. Now here I'm not trying to cut much. I'm just trying to make sure I got everything. This is just a final little cleanup. Now, any professionals out there that might see this video, no judgment. Any amateurs out there that might see this video, like I was saying, we'd love to see your befores and after. And we're actually going to be rewarding some of the worst fails on our Facebook page with some products because we'd love to see that. I think it'd be a good time. Just post it right to our page or share it to us and we'll post it. Now, we don't know how long this quarantine is going to last, so, self-cutting might become a thing in the next couple months. I'm kind of just checking to make sure I got all those random hairs on the neck that when the light hits it and see in the rearview mirror. Just checkity check, and check one more time with the mirror, look for any lines. If there was some lines, I might take my 5 guard and go up a little higher with it to blend it out. I see a little bit of weight right there, so I'm just being a little picky about it. Right there. There it is. So we started an S Salon Beauty channel. My team and I are going to be interviewing influencers in our town and giving tips and tricks and having some fun, staying connected to our community. We'd love for you to join us. We're going to be sharing it on Facebook and join us. We'd love to have you. If there's anybody you would like to us to interview, we'd love to hear those comments as well. There I'm taking Davines'. One of my favorite products is the gum. It's great for this length of hair. It's going to give myself some texture. That's a nice thing too if you're cutting your hair and it goes awry. Throw some product in there. Shake it out a little bit. Nobody will tell. Move it out. And there it is. Solo haircut. ready for the S Beauty channel. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please share and post this. Talk to you guys later.